In this video I'll tell you everything you need to know about the Sailor Peace massive update on Roblox. Because it was one of the biggest updates in this game recently. Subscribe, like, hype if you want to get this, more Roblox guides and giveaways. Watch till the end to understand this guide well. I'll break down everything you need to know about the new Sailor Peace update so you can understand every system, every grind, and exactly what you should be focusing on if you want to progress fast without wasting time. Because this update is packed with content, and if you don't approach it the right way, you can easily slow yourself down. This update introduces two new swords called Atomic and Abyssal Empress, a new melee style called Strongest Shinobi, a completely new game mode which is the Infinite Tower, new islands including a dedicated tower island, new shops, new systems, and a big expansion to late game progression. So there is a lot to cover and I'll walk you through all of it step by step in a way that actually helps you play smarter. Let's start with the biggest feature, which is the Infinite Tower. Because this is now one of the main endgame activities in the game. The Infinite Tower is a game mode where you climb floors continuously while fighting enemies. And the difficulty keeps scaling the higher you go. Every 5 floors, you will get a random debuff, which makes your run harder. And this is where things start getting interesting because the game forces you to adapt instead of just brute forcing everything. Once you reach floor 50, the system becomes more difficult because now you get 2 debuffs at the same time every 5 floors. And after floor 100, it increases to 3 debuffs per floor, which makes survival much harder and requires a much stronger build and better playstyle. This system is designed to push players to their limits, and the goal is simple. Go as high as possible. Subscribe to this channel if you want to join the giveaway. Check the links in the video description and write what you would like to get from this game. There is also a leaderboard tied to this mode, so if you are competitive, your objective is not just farming but also ranking higher than other players. Now the reason why Infinite Tower is so important is because of the rewards, specifically Tower Tokens. Tower Tokens are the main currency used on Tower Island, and you earn them by clearing floors in the tower. The higher you go, the more tokens you get. So if you want to farm efficiently, you should always aim to push as far as possible in each run instead of resetting early. Early floors give smaller rewards, so staying consistent and surviving longer runs is what really makes the difference over time. On Tower Island, there is a tower shop where you can spend your tokens, and one of the main items you can buy there is the Abyssal Empress sword. This sword costs around 4,000 tower tokens, which means you need to grind the tower for a while before you can afford it. This weapon is not tied to boss drops, so your only path to getting it is through this game mode, making the tower a required part of progression. There is also an upgrade shop on Tower Island, along with exclusive rewards like secret runes that can only be obtained from the tower and have a very low drop chance. So if you are aiming for the strongest possible build, you will need to spend a lot of time grinding here. One of the new auras, Purple Flare, can also only be obtained from the tower shop, along with one of the new accessories, so this location is extremely important for both power and cosmetics. Now let's move on to Lawless Island, because this is where another huge part of the update takes place. On this island, you will find enemies called Arena Fighter, and these are one of the most important mobs in the entire update. They drop Abyss Sigils, which are required to spawn the Atomic Boss. This means that before you can even start farming one of the best new weapons, you need to spend time farming these enemies. The method is simple but requires consistency. You stay on Lawless Island and keep defeating arena fighters over and over again. The faster you kill them, the more drops you get, so having a strong build and high level is extremely important here. Speed is everything when it comes to farming, because more kills equals more chances. Once you have enough Abyss Sigils, you can move on to spawning the Atomic Boss. There are 2 ways to summon this boss, the normal version which costs 1 Abyss Sigil, and the extreme version which costs 4 Abyss Sigils but gives you better drop chances. This creates a choice between quantity and quality. You can either do more runs with lower chances or fewer runs with higher chances. The Atomic Sword is one of the main new weapons added in this update, and you can buy it from an NPC located on the corner of Lawless Island. However, before you can unlock it, you need to collect a full set of materials, and this is where the grind really begins. The requirements include the Eminence Incarnate title, Own Shadow, 45,000 gems, 1 Atomic Omen, 3 Eminence Essences, 9 Shadow Remnants, 16 Magic Shards, and 80 Abyss Sigils. Every single one of these materials drops from the atomic boss, so your entire progression here is based on repeatedly summoning and defeating this boss until you collect everything. Items that require higher quantities like Shadow Remnants, Magic Shards, and Abyss Sigils will naturally drop more often, while items like Atomic Omen that are only required once will take much longer to obtain. This means you should expect to fight the boss many times before completing the full set. The best strategy is to farm arena fighters first to build up a large amount of Abyss Sigils, then repeatedly summon the atomic boss and defeat it as quickly as possible. If you want to be more efficient, you can combine this with server hopping, which allows you to find new boss spawns instead of waiting for cooldowns. This increases your number of attempts significantly over time. Now let's talk about the strongest Shinobi melee style, which is another major addition in this update. You can unlock this on Ninja Island, but just like the Atomic Sword, it requires a full set of materials before you can get it. You need the Battlefield Warlord title, 40,000 gems, 1 Path Fragment, 3 Eternal Cores, 8 Battle Sigils, and 15 Power Remnants. These materials also come from a boss, and each one has its own drop rate. Power Remnant has around a 4.93% drop rate, Battle Sigil is around 2.84%, Eternal Core is around 1.35%, and Path Fragment is the rarest at around 0.54%. This means you will need to repeat the boss fight many times to collect everything. Even if you do not get the rare drops, each run still gives you useful rewards like boss tickets, trait rerolls, race rerolls, and other materials, so no run is wasted. The key here is consistency and speed, just like with other farming methods in this update. Now going back to the Infinite Tower, before you can even enter it, you need a tower key. This item can drop from any NPC in the game, but the best method is again farming stronger enemies, especially arena fighters on Lawless Island. The drop rate is low, so you need to be patient and keep farming until it drops. Once you have it, you can start climbing the tower and farming tower tokens. Beyond weapons and combat systems, this update also adds a lot of new progression features. There are 2 new islands, one specifically designed for the tower, a new clan, a new race, 3 new accessories, 3 new titles including a luck-based title, 2 new auras, and 2 new cosmetics. There is also a new artifact set that drops from NPCs on the new islands, which adds another layer to your build and gives you more ways to increase your strength. The RUNE level cap has been increased to 60, and the Conqueror Hockey level cap has been increased to 35, giving you more room to scale your character even further. There are also 2 new secret runes that can only be obtained from the tower with a very low chance, making them some of the rarest and most valuable items in the game right now. On top of all that, there are quality of life updates like auto hockey settings, map optimizations, a buff to the executioner passive, and various bug fixes that improve overall gameplay. When you combine all of these systems together, the update creates a clear gameplay loop. You farm arena fighters on Lawless Island to get Abyss Sigils and Tower Keys. You use Abyss Sigils to spawn the Atomic Boss and farm materials for the Atomic Sword. You use Tower Keys to enter the Infinite Tower and farm Tower Tokens for Abyssal Empress and other exclusive rewards. And you repeat this process while upgrading your build through runes, artifacts, traits, and other systems. Everything in this update is built around repetition, consistency, and gradual progression, so the more time you invest into these loops, the stronger your character becomes.